This daf here, Yerushalmi Orlah, in the article Oz Bahara edition. We are on daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph, the fourth line down, Amar Chagai, which happens to be also the fourth line down on the Ches Amud Aleph in the Vilna, Amar Rabbi Chagai. Okay, so Amar Rabbi Chagai. Rabbi Chagai said, "Nachtis min alfa." He came down from the boat. Sham is called Rabbi Yaakov Bracha. I heard the voice of Rabbi Yaakov Bracha. Yossi Masne, evidently. He came from a trip from Chutzlaretz or somewhere. And he came off the boat and he heard, first thing comes to the boat is Rabbi Yaakov Bracha saying, Yossi Masne, Beged Shetova Klipi Orlah, a garment which was dyed with shells from Orlah, the lake, is to be burnt. Ritninon. And although it doesn't sound like it, but this is a question Rabbi Chagai asked Rabbi Yaakov Bracha from Mishnah Barizor, Perkimo Mishnah Tes, which says, Natal Himena, if you took from an Asherah, Karkar, the weaving needle, you made a weaving needle from an Asherah tree, you're not allowed to use it, of course, because it's Asar Banoah. It's Asar Banoah. Arag Bo Asar Beged, if you used it to weave a garment, Asar Banoah. Then the garment is Asar Banoah, because it was made with the Asar Banoah weaving needle. So to use a garment would be to have a Noah from the Avodah Zarah Bashera. Yain Nesser Bor Nafel a Bor. Similarly, if you have Yain Nesser which fell into a bor of Heter, Yain Heter, then Kul Asar Banoah. And it's all Asar Banoah. But that we learned from Shimon Gamliel Omer, you can sell the entire board to a goy, chutz midmei yain nesach shabo, except for the value of yain nesach, which is in the board. Obviously, that's the part which also by Noah. So that's where you can't sell that wine, but the rest of the wine you can sell. You can't drink it because also got mixed in with Isser, but it should be it's by Noah. So you can sell the entire bore of wine besides the value of the nesach. So if that's the case, why is it that wine that the entire bag is also bahanoah if the garment becomes also bahanoah? And although this is not explicit in the case, the assumption that he had was Yaakov Ach was talking about a case where this beged, which is Tzova Klipi Orlah, got mixed into other begadim, which were not Tzova Klipi Orlah. So the whole batch of garments, besides the price of the garment which was dyed with the Klipi Orlah. So Amar Rabbi Yaakov Bar Yaakov said, this is evidently the son of Rabbi Yaakov Bar Yaakov, who made the statement. Rabbi Chagai, you asked the question, Rabbi Chagai, Kaima, answer the question. Okay, so Maikadun, what in fact is the reason? I don't know if Rabbi Chagai himself gave this answer or not. He said it's really an issue of a gzera, and a chanami theoretically should work. Theoretically should be able to sell the batch of garments besides the value of the garment of Orlah. But when you sell wine to a goy, people are not going to buy it back. So yain shel goy, nobody's going to buy it from him. So therefore, not choshish that the Yisrael is going to have to take the Isser. But here, derech bnei adam likach beged min goy. People do buy garments from a goy, so therefore afraid that that he's going to sell the garment back to going to sell the batch of garments back to the Jews, and a Jew is going to end up with a garment which was colored with Klipi Orlah. I just went over this according to Levi Yerushalmi, who learns that it's talking about a case where the garment of Orlah got mixed up into other garments. The article doesn't learn that way. I think the article learns it more pashut. The article learns that Rabbi Chagai's question was very simple. You have one garment which was colored with Orlah, sell it to a guy minus the value of the dye. It's an uncolored garment. It's worth $15. With the dye, it's worth $20. Sell it to a guy for $15. that we're not getting any bana from the orla. There's no bittul issue. Just simple. Sell the garment minus the value of the orla. And that Gemara gives also a very simple answer. The very simple answer is that we're afraid with the wine. We're not afraid that a Jew is going to buy the wine from the guy. But here, where I sell the garment to the guy, so afraid a Jew is going to buy it from him. And he's going to be wearing an orla garment and getting hanoah from the orla, which is also derived hanoah from. So therefore, we asked her selling the garment, again, without bittul, one garment. The asked her selling it for $15 to the guy, even though the Jew is not getting that hanoah then from the value of the klipi orla, because he might sell it to a Jew who's then going to be wearing a garment which is also to wear because the issur of orla. Okay, halacha beis, which I think in the just for the record, two mishnayos, a part of Mishnah Beis and Mishnah Yom. Okay, hatzvayim le'asit b'klipa orla, somebody who sells a seat, a seat worth of thread with klipa orla. This is a seat is the difference between these two fingers. That's about the amma. And the orla beget, and he weaves into a garment. And we don't know what thread it is in the garment. And mer yidolek habeged. I would say that the garment has to be burnt because it holds orach hasid is a davar chashiv, it's not bata. And Chacham argue, Chacham yala bechor masayim. They say no, it's bata 1 in 200 because it's not a davar chashiv, a moli hasid. Okay, the ori moli hasid mitzemra bechor bebeged. If you weave a seat with thread of tzera bechor, which is asba noah, because it's kachim, and into a garment, yudalik ha-beged. Then the beged has to be burnt because it's the entire beged now is asba noah, and there's no sheer bittul for this. 1 in 200 specifically did in Orlah, not it did in kachim. Meseir nazir petach hamor besak. If you take the hair of a nazir, which is similar to goat hair, and it's also manah, or from petach hamor, take the donkey hair, and you weave it into a sack, which is normally used for it. Yudalik a sack, then the sack has to be burnt. Also, no shear here. Mukdashim kachim kol sheim, and this is by mukdashim. Then it's also b'kol sheim. This is talking about kachim shab pidyon, like kachim bedek abayis. So since it's a davar sheish matirin, it's even not bottle even 1,000, and therefore a chut koshu, even if it's not moli seat, if it has no chashivas, it has it's mekadosh doesn't have chashivas, even moli seat. It's mekadosh koshu, and it's you have to be pointed to the hektish, otherwise it remains also bad. The entire garment remains also bad. No. Now the obvious question we're going to have to discuss is this molias seat of tzem b'chor, seir nazi petach hamor. Is that only according to Meir, or is it also according to Chacham? Because Chacham only arguing the Reisha by Orlah, and it sounds like they're not arguing, like I said, by tzem b'chor and by seir nazi petach hamor. Is that true? So the Gemara is going to have to do with this. Matar seat. Who's the one who says seat is a davar chashuv? Right, Meir. But on Krabbanon, he seat the bachas seat. They hold the seat is like less than the seat, and it's not significant, and therefore it's bottom 200. Tzemer b'chor shetorfo. You have a tzemer b'chor which got mixed in before it became a thread. It's bata barov. It's not like our Mishnah. Our Mishnah got mixed up after it became a thread. And mixed up before it became a thread, it's bata barov. So here it says Eisvei, but most of the Farshim, the Pnei Moshe, the Ridbaz, the Yerushalmi Orlah say that actually this is going like it should be say Eisvei, not Eisvei. So Eisvei b'chia tzipora kum Rabbi Ami litra b'shmoina. He brought him a litra of tzemer b'chor, which got mixed up in 8 litra of tzemer chulin. The low, it should say here hodu, but should say rather lo hore, and the word ilule taken out. V'lo hore, he didn't pass on heter, even though it was tzemer prior to made a thread. Rabbi Yasa, the Lomas Nisi is not a Mishnah. In other words, here there's not. It's no difference whether it's a thread or of the wool. It's still going to be awesome. Ha'orim Meles and which Mishnah? Ha'orim Meles seed mitzvah b'chol ha'beged like a beged. There's no difference between the tzemar itself and the Meles seed and the thread. Omar Le, so he said. Ilu isavta tamon ishavas yos. If I would have sat there by Rabbi Yochanan, I guess Rabbi Yam is saying, if I would have sat by Rabbi Yochanan, who did say the distinction between whether it is thread or just a thread which is woven in, or just a mixture of wool, yos, I would have. Oh no, it's not. No, it's Rebbe saying this. Rebbe said, if I would have asked this question from the student Rabbi Yochanan, they would have distinguished for me between the mixing of the wool and the weaving of the thread. And then he said this to Rabbi Yamin, you would have been moided to Rabbi Yochanan. In other words, you're always saying this because Rabbi Yochanan's not around. The Talmid Rabbi Yochanan are not around for me to ask them this question. But had you been asked in front of them, they would have matter. Okay, Talmutina, we went over there. Elu and Nisrafin. These are the things. The end tomorrow says these are the know which are burnt, chametz and pesach, etc. It says what are buried, kachim, etc. And then one of the things is the two things are sand, nazir, and petach hamor. So Tina Elu and Nikborim. I said Talmutina Elu and Nisrafim. There it says in Tamura that these are things are burnt. It says also these are the Nigbarim. Well, it says in our Mishnah, Yidalik. So, it says they're burnt. There in Tamura it says that they are buried. What's the difference? Rabbi Yochanan said, Kan besak, kan besak, kan beser. He said, that it says on Mishnah Yidolik, it's all about when you wove them into a sack. And it says Mishnah where they should be buried, it's all about just plain hair. Was it just woven into a sack or if it's hair? On Rabbi Hillel, a sack, since it's not going to decompose very quickly, we're afraid if you're going to bury it, somebody's going to come and dig it up and get an off from it. That's why you have to burn it. Hair, people are not going to go dig it up, just be hair, so therefore we're not concerned, and therefore you can bury it. Rabbi Shimon says, Kan b'mikdash. In the base of Mikdash, the din of Seir Nazir is in Sreifa, because it says there, by when you cut the Seir of Nazir in the base of Mikdash, it says in Bamidbar Vav, Nasal Eshes Shetag Zebach HaShlamim. When he shaves, but if he shaves up outside Beis Hamikdash, then the din of Seir is not in Sreifa, but in Kvura. Kan b'Sreifa Mikdash, kan b'Gvulin. Rabbi Yosef Omer kan b'Nazir Torah. The mitzvah is to burn it. When the mitzvah of Nazir is Torah and he cuts off his hair, then the mitzvah is to burn the hair. Kan b'Nazir Tomei, but in Nazir Tomei there's no mitzvah to burn it, and therefore you can bury it. V'atni and Petach Hamor, so that's what we're talking about. On the Petach Hamor, my question is all Petach Hamor. Petach Hamor says that it should be buried, and here it says it should be burnt. By Petach Hamor, Yitzchak L'meimar kan b'Mikdash kan b'Gvulin kan b'Nazir Torah kan b'Nazir Tomei. Doesn't apply. None of that applies. That's unique to Nazir. That's by to say Petach Hamor. El kan b'sak kan b'seir. This is obviously the answer is that the difference between sak and seir, like we said previously, the sak we're afraid you're going to dig it up, and seir we're not afraid. On Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Buddha said, Rabbi Buddha said, "Hein the tema yisarev sorrow," that which it says our Mishnah should be buried. It's saying about seir petach hamor, because afraid if you're going to bury it, you're going to come to lidei takol. Hein the tema kaver b'gufo, that which says buried. It's really not talking about the seir petach hamor. It's talking about the body of the petach hamor, and since Either you're not going to dig up buried bodies and get enough from it because it's repugnant, or the Chazon Ish says because it's going to decompose very quickly, so there's no concern. They're going to come to Dei Takola because it's supposed to hair, which lasts for a long time. And that brings us to the. I haven't clarified about the Mishnah whether it's my mayor or Rabbanan yet, but that brings us to the top of Lambeches Amral. Actually, significantly into Lambeches Amral. So therefore, we'll stop here for today.